Wait, what did we do? He's not a mind reader?
Communication is the last art.
Communication. Alright, are we going? What's up, guys?
It's cracking.
I'm gonna let you do my intro. You think you can sound like me?
What the hell?
You think you can sound like me? Go ahead.
Nah, nigga. What's going on, guys? My name is Danielle, and I'm gonna wake up and get some coffee with you. Sorry.
Do I sound like that? Do I? I don't think so. Let's start over. What's up, guys? It's Danny. She Speaks. I'm back with another video with your favorite person,
Michael, aka the Mike, aka Elosito Bibo, aka Magic Mike, aka the one and only.
the husband. And today we want to talk about communication is a lost art /
She's not a mind
he or
reader.
she is not a mind reader.
They not a mind reader.
I'm gonna let you take that away.
If I may add, in relationships, we often venture off to these dark places and dark waters where one person will assume what the other is saying or thinking without asking. Another person can be talking the entire time. Another person will clearly miss what the other person is saying. This often happens with the female species, but it also can occur with the male species. In our relationship, that happens quite often, and I'm sick and tired of it.
First of all, I was trying to hold it, but you're going too far. Guys, when he says often, he means every now and then, not all the time, just so you know.
Sorry, I haven't had my coffee today.
But yeah, like, one of the greatest things that I feel like Mike has said to me, like, when we used to be feuding and doing all this stuff, and I'd be like, so what you mean? What you trying to say? You trying to come against me? Just all these things, right? And one day, like, Mike was like, we're on the same team. We're fighting for the same thing. And I was like, dang! Like, that cut me deep because, like, a lot of times my defense mechanism will go up when he says something to me, whether it's constructive criticism or, hey, I don't like it when you do that, but I like it when you do this, or, hey, can you just, not leave your makeup all over the counter? And I'll be ready. I have my guns ready, like, oh, but you didn't put the toilet seat down, and you didn't do this, and you didn't do that.
Well, I thought we weren't going too far.
Oh, you're right. Well, I'm just giving examples.
Gotcha, okay.
That's it. And I'm saying that to say, like, instead of looking for, like, that tit for tat, it's like, how can we communicate in a healthy way? I think that's my favorite word to say, healthy.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's like, how can we communicate in a healthy way? How can we see that we're on the same team and what we need to fight is outside of us? Because clearly, we love each other. We chose to be married. We chose to be girlfriend, boyfriend. We chose to be husband, wife, fiancés. So it's like, how can we communicate in a way that is effective, in a way that is not offensive, and in a way that's not, what's it called when you, like, defensive, huh?
Defensive. Yeah.
Defensive, you feel me?
Yeah.
And where you guys can come together. I think if we realize that, and the big word I like to say is communication. Communication. No, that's not what I wanted to say. I wanted to say compromise. Compromise. Like, are you willing to bend your will for the other person's will? And that's big when it comes to communication. But why do you think it's a lost art, though?
It's a lost art because a lot of times we grow up differently. Using us as an example, I grew up a certain way, Danielle grew up a certain way. We're coming together in a relationship, whether that's dating or engaged or married. And we both have these two perspectives of what this should look like, whether that's what food we're gonna eat, whether that who cleans what, or what kind of roles we have in a relationship. And oftentimes when those perspectives aren't communicated, there's often points trying to be made. Danielle may say something that triggers me because I was talking to my mom a certain way. Now I'm defensive, now I'm pointing my fingers back at her. And it's, instead of living in the context that we're on the same team, I'm looking at her as my enemy now. All because I didn't stop to actually listen to what she's saying, how she's saying it, what she's trying to say. and at the same time communicate what I'm feeling to her. I'm just, emotionally throwing up with my words, and that can often cause risk. So I think it starts in the space of knowing that we are on the same team, and then just being willing to listen. And if what you're hearing is still a disconnected version of what they're saying, I gotta express to Danielle that, hey, I know you're saying pick up the dirty laundry, but
I say it, the tone.
I feel like the way you're saying it, you're judging me for being dirty or whatever, messy. And in that, Danielle can respond. We can have a compromise and communication on what that really looks like in the household. So yeah.
Exactly. It's a lot of times that I personally will be thinking in my mind, like, did he just, like, for me, like, I'll tell you guys one of my triggers. My auntie, like, whenever I had free time, or like when we weren't at daycare or something because it was closed and we had to be at home and she had to go to work, she would give me this long list of things to do to try to keep me busy. So like when I'm at home from work and Mike has to go to work and he gives me this long list or things that he thinks needs to be done, it triggers me, or it used to trigger me, and I'd be like, what the heck, why are you giving me this long list? And I would snap. And to him, he's like, what's your problem? But to me, I didn't went all the way back to 10-year-old Danielle that got that list from her auntie and had to do that whole list and fulfill it. And then, all the other things that were attached to that. But we're going to stay right there. Just that, like, he doesn't know that what he did was triggering me until I told him, like, oh, dang, like, I'm not listening to you anymore. I'm seeing my auntie now. So it's like important to just be like, okay. That's why I feel like it's a lost cause, because we get so stuck in our lost art, not a lost cause, sorry. A lost art, because we get so stuck in our triggers that we're no longer hearing what the other person has to say, because we're now listening through whatever triggered us.
Yeah. We have certain filters in our mind for human relationships, and those can often come out in our relationships, our romantic relationships. And if we're not aware of those filters, then we can respond to our significant, loving, beautiful, graceful other in an attacking way. And it just takes maturing and learning and experience to kind of overcome those things, recognize what those triggers are, recognize how you're filtering information, and then at the very least being able to be honest with how you're feeling enough to want to find a common ground between the two of you. So yeah, that's good. That was a good analogy.
That's really good. Mm-hmm. Yes. So me being a person watching this video, how do I take that information and apply it? Like, how do I work through my triggers now? Like, when I don't even know that they're triggers until they come up.
Yeah. I think the first thing, again, is just knowing that the person that you're in a relationship with, 90% of the time is on your team. They're not there to bash you, even though we know that that's out there. They're not there to hurt you or bash you or attack you. So knowing that point is good. And then when you start to feel triggered or the sense of discomfort, is just thinking back to if you felt this before when you were younger in your adolescence or a teen. And if you can find those moments, then you can begin to understand why this particular thing is making you feel that way. Whether that's completely in your head and you're completely referencing what happened, or your partner is actually saying something that is, aggressive or over assertive or,
yes,
judgmental, then you can pinpoint those things. But oftentimes we just, begin to put up shields when people are trying to tell us something that don't work either. Yeah.
The biggest thing to me is just being with a partner that's willing to work through their stuff and that you're willing to work through your stuff. And that was like one of the hugest things like I had to grow up in. It's like, okay, I'm getting married, so now I really got to face myself. I have to deal with everything that I hid under the carpet and didn't want to mess with. Now it's all coming out, and it's easy to blame your partner when really it's just God trying to mature you in another form. Like, that's all it is. And I see a lot of people say, well, that's just how I am and you got to take it. No, you can grow. You can be different. You can learn. It's just all about what you want to do, So.
Yeah. And I often tell myself this and other people that are experiencing those growing pains, that if the other person that you're with, is that worth it, then you'll be willing to grow out of it. And if they're not, then you know, will think about the relationship that you're in. But, you know, compromise is a part of growing. It is not a compromise as far as settling or cutting off your qualities or your standards. It's just being willing to walk with a person in a direction.
Exactly.
You know, we don't want no abusive people out there, or people that are being abused, to compromise their standard because they're being abused. That's not what we're saying.
No, there's a healthy and there's an unhealthy.
Exactly.
But almost everything.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Level.
Exactly. So, and then also that just reminds me of like you personally even having boundaries when you go into a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
What are you willing to deal with and what are you not willing to deal with? Like there was a time where like I would just, you know, have an attitude, not talk, not communicate, and Mike, we would sit there for 7 to 8 hours, and eventually Mike would walk away, and I'd be like, why are you walking away? Like, where you going? Like, sit here for another 10 hours with me, even though I don't want to communicate. Where you going? So, like, it's just like, what are you going to deal with, and what are you willing to not deal with? And, like, once he set that boundary of, like, okay, look, I'm going to go over here, when you ready to talk, just, I realized, like, okay, Danielle, you can't take 7 to 8 hours to communicate what's in your mind, because he's not a mind reader. He's sitting there, while you're sitting there being mad, he's over there trying to figure out what it is, and it's just like you guys think differently. Your passes are different. You're two different. He's a man, I'm a woman. That's what I'm trying to say. What's that called?
Genders.
Two different genders. You're
I was gonna say species.
species. That too. Like they say, girls is from Mars. No, men are from Mars and girls is from Venus.
Yeah.
I am butchering that, but you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So it's like you're two different people and human beings with backgrounds, and you have to remember that. So, and also just patience. Like Mike was very patient with me. Like even in that, like I don't know if the tables were turned, that I would have the same exact patience. And I understand that about myself, but I do appreciate that patience, you know. And like now I've grown, you know, from sitting mad for 8 hours to being able to communicate how I feel, you know, and communicate.
That's a new one.
I said communicate.
You. Okay.
Nah, but yeah, being able to communicate how I feel. So yeah, that was a long extensive video. Do you have any last thoughts?
No, I think we said it all. Just be willing, you know.
If you like this video, subscribe, like, comment.
Gang.
And if they have a Naruto emoji and you are part of the Jokes gang, go ahead and put that Naruto emoji. If not, just put a heart in the comment, a black heart, and let me know that you watched this all the way through, because I know it was long, but y'all some choppers. All right, see y'all. We're going to talk more. Let's keep this conversation going in the comments. See y'all in my next video.